So welcome back. Those are podcast listeners. We're into our second session, and it's my pleasure to welcome for our podcast Mr. Marcus Miller. He is the Vice President of Field Operations for NMSDC. And Marcus, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you and good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Well, we're well underway at the Opportunity Fair for NMSDC, and Marcus has taken some time out to join us to tell us a little bit about some of the latest happenings with NMSDC. One of the things I would like to talk about is the survey, Economic Development Survey, that NMSDC conducted. Let me tell you a little bit of what we've learned about it. It was conducted in partnership with the Institute for Thought Diversity, and it researched the effects of nearly 12,000 certified MBEs on the U.S. economy, and the findings were released in an economic impact report. That report revealed that these MBEs produce over $400 billion in annual revenue and employ either directly or indirectly more than 2.2 million people. Also, minority-owned businesses contribute close to $49 billion in local, state, and federal tax revenues. So we welcome everyone in NMSDC conference in San Diego, and we want to discuss a little bit about this economic impact report, learn a little bit more about it from Marcus, and how MBEs can position themselves and leverage their relationship with NMSDC to continue to grow and add to the economic development in this country. So Marcus, welcome.
Thank you very
Welcome.
much.
So tell us a little bit about NMSDC's newest initiatives and some of the things that are going on.
So you've talked about the economic impact report, and we're really excited about that. It was a labor of love, and also something that we felt would be really important for our present and our future, because as you mentioned, a lot of people don't stop to think about the economic impact of minority businesses. We, for many years, as an almost 44-year-old nonprofit, have always promoted the value proposition for getting certified, for corporate members to utilize MBEs in their supply chain and strategic sourcing, but we didn't have enough quantifiable data that would allow them to say, so this is why we do this, so that it's not just thought about as a social good, but something that's really driving innovation, driving change. So that's a very important initiative for us, because it gives us data that we can use for MBEs that are trying to find their way into supply chain organizations, and most importantly, to become part of a company's value chain. But it's also important from a corporate standpoint, because we needed corporations to understand that this is not a give an MBE a contract. This is part of their strategy, it's part of their drive as they continue to globalize and seek innovation. We're finding that out of 11,978 certified minority businesses, over $401 billion economic impact is creating real opportunity and real change and real innovation for these members.
And so what were some of the other findings from the report?
Well, so a lot of people don't stop to think about the fact that if you're a minority business owner, you employ people. Those people get wages and benefits from you. They then they build families, they become part of communities, they spend money in those communities, they give their families money to spend. So you've got a direct impact, and then you have an indirect impact, then you have an inferred impact, and sometimes it gets a little academic, but the fact is more and more people are looking for that kind of data, and we just needed to make sure that we had it available so that we can not only use it to tell our story, but to also make it relevant for corporations that were still trying to make themselves more connected to the NMSDC mission.
Yeah, if you think about the economy as a body, then money is the blood, huh?
It is the blood, and you bring up a great point, Deborah, in that from an ecosystem perspective, when companies provide contract opportunities for these certified MBEs, and we emphasize certified MBEs because we see that there's a distinction between MBEs that get certified and those that don't. What they're really saying is, I need your help in, taking costs out of my business because I need to be more competitive. I need your help in helping me add to my bottom line because you're bringing me a new set or class of customer. And I'm looking for innovation. So if you can bring me a solution, I'll find a space for you in my supplier value chain because it's going to do everything I need to help me stay competitive.
Yep. Yeah, money is the lifeblood of this ecosystem, so it circulates.
Yeah,
right?
it circulates.
And it's not one cycle; it's many cycles.
It is multiple cycles, and there are children of employees of these businesses, whether they are a minority or not, who are contributing to the benefit of the American economy. And America has got to be strong and competitive in the global marketplace using minority businesses.
Well, talk to me a little bit more about the differences between businesses that take the initiative to be certified and those that for whatever reason decide not to do that. Because certainly certification for Shell and for companies like Shell is an important thing. We're looking for companies that certify.
I think the important distinction, this really actually ties back to some of our continuing initiatives, is really about making the choice to be an elite supplier. Now, some people don't like the term elite because they think that it smacks of elitism, but the reality is the businesses that go through our certification process have chosen to position themselves as ready to do business. They may not all be ready today, but as they go through the supplier development process, which almost all of our corporate members engage in, and as they demonstrate that not only minority owned, operated, controlled, but they actually have added value. They learn that through the experiences that they gain by collaborating with other certified firms, by working with the businesses that will only use certified firms, and I think it helps them to see a different view because being part of the NMSDC network, they get a vista that they typically wouldn't have if they were only, and I want to say this the right way, just another minority business, because every entrepreneur is not a business, every business is not a supplier, and we know that our companies that are members of NMSDC are continuing to look for strong suppliers to help them with their business needs.
Yeah, from our perspective, we see NMSDC and the regional affiliates and the entire network as an important partner to help provide the resources and the focus to help MBEs develop.
Right, so that's why our latest initiative is a remap of a search and retrieval process through NMSDC Central is going to be really significant for those MBEs that choose to be certified because it'll make it easier for our corporate members to find them and it positions NMSDC as an executive search firm, if you will. We're also going to be looking strategically at where are the gaps in the certified supplier base because more and more of our corporate members have new technology requirements. They have new strategic requirements. They have new customer requirements, and so we need to be able to source MBEs to make them available for our members to source. On top of that, we're creating some additional components around access to capital, and not the generic access to capital, but really trying to position the market that has capital available, whether it's traditional lending or it is venture capital, angel investors, et cetera, with those minority businesses that need growth capital and are looking to use that growth capital to drive new opportunities for their businesses.
Tell me a little bit more about that. So this is a new initiative?
It's a new initiative. We actually, because we're going through our own internal restructuring at the national office, we brought in Sheila McClendon, who's my counterpart. She heads strategy and services. We're trying to use technology to build, for better or worse, a marketplace that will allow certified suppliers and other vendors to access an online tool that will allow them to put in certain data points, and it'll connect them with potential funders. We don't make any promises or commitments that the money's going to flow, but we know that it is still, after 40 plus years, the number one issue for growth of minority businesses is receiving dollars to grow. We're also looking at ways that we can strategically align more of our industry groups so that they're doing more cross-pollination. You know, this Business Opportunity Exchange is a fabulous trade fair. It's a fabulous platform for buyers and sellers. We're looking to engineer additional things like more ways to retrieve leads. We're having matchmakers for the first time, and we're trying to do it not in a stereotypical way, but in a more forward-thinking way, because we want to match people that want to be matched and are ready to be matched, so that it's not what some have described to me, the effect of rummaging through a toy box looking for that one toy you want to play with. But now you're able to pinpoint it, and that we think is going to be a real game changer.
That sounds like it could high value. Really looking forward to that. So tell me a little bit, let's switch gears a little. So you were talking about this conference. Tell me a little bit about this conference and how it differs from some of the other conferences, prior conferences.
This is arguably the premier marketplace for minority businesses and corporations to come together and make business happen. We continually look at where we need to make changes and adjustments because we want a positive experience, but more importantly, we want business to take place. We don't expect that people are going to walk away with contracts and orders. I've been at conferences where, people are there, basically with order books, taking orders. That is not this conference, although we know that some of that does happen. This is really a place that people can build their relationships, where they can get to know their companies. And I encourage MBEs who I have occasion to connect with that you have to come here really prepared. The marketplace is looking for you when you're ready to be found. And some people say, well, what does that really mean? Well, there's a lot of information about what corporate America needs, what corporate America is looking for. And when corporate America comes and says, I'm here and I'm ready to do business, you got to be prepared to do that business. You got to know what kinds of things they're interested in. You got to know what kinds of pain points they have. And it's way too easy to find that out with technology, with using the internet. I mean, some of our partners here, like Google and others, are making tools available for businesses so that they can build the next generation of business that's going to make America great, keep us globally competitive. And so we see that as a primary, if not absolutely essential part of this activity.
Very much. It looks like it's one of the biggest conferences as well.
This is probably the biggest of its type. We anticipate every year, depending on the location and what's happening in the business cycle, somewhere around 6,000 to 7,000 attendees. And a predominant number of them are going to be certified MBEs. We're constantly focusing on how do we develop and reshape the value proposition, not just for corporate members to join as members, but for MBEs to certify and then recertify, because I think what they see is added value. And Michelle Ruiz is an excellent example of someone that has taken every conceivable opportunity available as a certified vendor.
A great example. And as she and Tiffany were talking about this morning, how they found their fit.
Right.
So, what advice do you have for suppliers who are here today in terms of the best way to take full advantage of the conference?
I think there are really 3 key points. One, know who you are. If you're a business that makes something, or if you're part of what I will call a value chain where you can add value within a corporation through the provision of services, then be that and make sure that you direct all of your attention toward how you're going to either help a company add to its bottom line because of a service that you can provide that's going to put dollars in their pocket, which in turn puts dollars in your pocket. How you're going to help them take costs out of the business, because all of the businesses here are looking to buy better, buy smarter, and because they're global, they're looking at ways that they can compete in a variety of different venues, and so you have to demonstrate how you can help them do that, which is also going to put dollars in your pocket. But then also, how are you innovating in a way that's going to give them a competitive advantage? There are a lot of businesses that are in similar fields. There are a lot of traditional commodities that people have for many years been trying to get a foothold in. But the winners are the ones that can demonstrate that they've got a solution that nobody else has, that's tailored for this particular company, and they can demonstrate it in a way that's going to provide long-term value. We don't want anybody to come here that's not prepared. So again, as I mentioned, you got to make sure you've done your homework, and there's a lot of homework you can do even as we're sitting here right now to know who should I be talking with, because the most important thing people want to hear from you is, how can you help me move my needle? And if you can't answer that question, then it doesn't mean that you're a failure. It just means that you're going to have to go back to the drawing board and get yourself ready.
Absolutely.
I hope that answers the question.
That does answer the question. And it's a great advice for MBEs on those of you who are here, how you get the most out of it. And for those of you on the podcast who are not here, hope you can have a flavor of what the value is of being at events like this, of making the effort to come, making the effort to connect with the companies that are here, making the effort to network with other MBEs who also came. So one of the most important things for us, again, as we work with NMSDC, as we work with the regional affiliates, is not only that companies have taken the initiative to become certified, and as you put it, to strive to become elite organizations, elite MBEs, but also, from our perspective, they've demonstrated that they have the savvy and the initiative and the energy, not just to get certified, but to work their certification, to work it to get the most value, to take advantage of all of the opportunities like this one, to interface with companies like Shell.
That's such an excellent point, Deborah. I've told people often that certification is a little bit like getting a college degree. Mm-hmm. Once you've gotten your college degree, jobs don't magically or mysteriously appear. You actually have to go out and work. You've got to do homework. You've got to know where your skill set is, and then you've got to work that skill in a way that's beneficial for your employer and for you. When you are a certified supplier, there are a lot of opportunities. There are people that want to help. They are empowered to provide you with support that undergirds your initiative, but they're not going to do it for you. And because they're in business to do what they do, our regional affiliates, our national office staff, and people like yourself and others who have a passion for this work, it's really up to them what they make out of it.
I think the amazing benefit that the companies that invest in having a supplier diversity program and invest in being corporate members with NMSDC and with the regional affiliates is that our supplier diversity offices give MBEs another advocate. But you notice I say another. This investment in the supplier diversity program gives you a person, gives an MBE people in a company who are specifically focused on helping to find opportunities for MBEs. But that does not then mean that MBEs don't have to do all of the other things that any business has to do to develop their business, including all of the business development and relationship building and networking aside from supplier diversity, all of the research that you talked about to find out about companies online, all of the relationship building. And one of the best stories that I like to tell about a company that found their fit is becoming a certified MBE. But their first fit with Shell was not through supplier diversity. The first time that Linda Laurel, who was able to do a video for Shell a few months ago, got an opportunity inside Shell was making connections through her professional network and through LinkedIn to find the right person to talk to with Shell, a video producer in Shell. And we, the Supplier Diversity Office, we weren't aware of that opportunity in that case. But the opportunity was there, and she found her fit, and now we are in support of growth for that company. So,
that's an excellent story.
You got to work all of the benefits and all of the opportunities and do all of the same work that any growing and aggressive business needs to do, but you have another advocate, and that's our role.
Yeah, the advocacy work is so critically important, and a lot of people know the time and effort we put into our 5-year strategy, of which we're in the 4th year. We're focused on certifying MBEs, developing MBEs through a variety of methods, and developing our corporate members, connecting them through these types of events as well as regional events and other activities that are industry specific, but then also being an advocate. And I'm so glad you brought that point up, because I think sometimes these business owners feel like they're out here by themselves and nobody's hearing them and nobody's actually there to support them. But I want them to know that the NMSDC, our 24 affiliates and our corporate members want you to be successful, because your success, as evidenced by our economic impact report, 2.2 million jobs that these corporations support through the use of minority suppliers, $401 billion in economic output, $49 billion in tax revenue that goes to public goods like roads, grounds, and schools. Your success is what's driving that. It's what's driving the American economy. It's what's making America competitive in an environment where global competition has changed the entire landscape. So don't give up. Continue to identify ways that we can support you. We're here to help you grow your business.
As we are, as Shell is, as Supplier Diversity in Shell, we are interested in helping you grow businesses And especially we're looking to help businesses in the core of our area, in the core of our capabilities to grow and really get mass and get scale in the energy industry. And so we're actually going to talk about that a little bit in one of our later podcasts. I want to thank you, Marcus, for taking the time to spend with us and tell us a little bit about what's coming down the line for NMSDC and some of the great work that the agency or that NMSDC is doing in support of minority businesses.
And thank you to Shell for being a great corporate member and helping to show the way for other members, and I really appreciate the opportunity to share this time with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So we're going to take a 5-minute break and prepare for our next guest. And we're going to welcome Alejandra Castillo. She is the director of the Federal Minority Business Development Agency and the first Latina to be appointed to that role by our president. So give us about 5 minutes and we'll be back online. Thank you.